Mummy Be Scene 17. It took all my concentration not to yell out and betray myself. I was determined to be the man and act like it still didn't hurt. Finally, Jane stopped spanking me and let me get up. I grabbed the goodnight and slipped it back on. My turn, huh? I said, smiling. I think you need a lesson in how to give a proper spanking. But I've already been spanked. Jane pleaded. Not by me. I replied, besides, if your mom spanks like you, that would hardly even count. I knew that wasn't true, of course. I recalled the marks on Jane's bottom when I helped her with her diaper. I wondered if my butt looked the same. Fine, just don't be too hard, Jane requested. I'm just now recovered from the spanking Mom gave me. Besides, I will have some explaining to do if I can't sit down for dinner. I'll be careful, I assured her. I pulled her down across my lap and started peppering her backside with some quick slaps. WHO hits like a girl, Jane teased. I picked up my speed and intensity, paddling Jane's cute white bottom into a cherry pink. Jane squealed and gasped with each blow. Suddenly Jane gasped loudly and blurted out, "Peter, put my diaper back on." "Okay," I said, reaching for the diaper. "Did I spank you too hard? I didn't hurt you, did I?" "No, it's not that," Jane said with a sense of urgency. It was then I noticed Jane had her legs tightly pressed together with her hand pressed between them. "I got her, you know," Jane explained. "Oh, I see. Just don't do it on me," I joked. "Not funny, Peter. Hurry, please," Jane pleaded. Okay, I said, slipping the diaper under Jane's bottom and redoing the tapes. Jane leapt up and looked around the room frantically as if she was looking for an escape. She started to make her way toward the hallway, and presumably the bathroom, but got only halfway across the living room before she froze in her tracks. Jane turned and looked at me, crimsoned face. I heard a loud hissing and looked down to see the wetness indicator on her diaper finish changing colors. Jane was, once again, completely soaking her diaper, right in front of me. "I'm sorry, Peter." Jane looked like she was going to cry. "I didn't want to do that in front of you. It's so embarrassing." "It's okay," I assured her. "It's not like it's the first time." "I know," Jane said, "it's still humiliating." I had an idea. Without a word, I stood up in front of Jane and started to release my bladder into the goodnight. Jane gasped, "Peter, are you?" "Yep," was all I said as I continued to soak the goodnight. Remembering that I had leaked the last time I peed in one of these things, I attempted to stem the flow. I didn't seem to have much luck. Fortunately, this time the goodnight seemed to hold, though it was definitely at its saturation point. Jane stood there in her wet diaper looking at me and mine. "Peter, that was weird," Jane said matter-of-factly, "but it was a sweet thing for you to do." With that, she walked over, wrapped her arms around me and kissed me. The feeling of her standing there with nothing but a wet diaper and me in a wet goodnight, bodies pressed together, was more than I could stand. We were headed quickly for another makeout session, maybe something more. Suddenly, Jane pulled away. "Peter, you've got to go now," she exclaimed. "I'm sorry, are we moving too fast?" I asked, concerned. "No, it's not that. You just need to leave, quickly," she said in desperation. "Then what is it?" "Your mom won't be home for another hour." I was worried I had done something wrong. "It's just, I gotta go," Jane said quietly. "What do you mean, you just went a lot?" I said, indicating her sodden diaper. "No, I gotta do, you know, the other thing. And I am not doing that in front of you," Jane said emphatically. "Oh, I see," I said, realizing her situation. "You could just take off the diaper again, you know." "Well, I can't do that all week." Jane reminded me Mom would definitely know something was up. As much as I'm dreading it, I might as well get it over with. Jane started to squirm where she was standing. She reached her hand around and held the backside of her diaper. "Hurry, Peter." I love you, but you need to leave now. Jane pleaded. I pulled on my pants, grabbed my things and headed toward the door. I gave Jane a quick kiss and stepped out on the porch. As Jane shut the door, I saw her face turn a dark shade of red. I got in my car and headed back toward home. My mind was so wound up in the events of the past few hours I nearly ran a stop sign. Arriving safely back to the house, I headed up to my room to change. Undoing my pants, I saw that I was still wearing the pink girl's goodnight. I had completely forgot I had that on. That's when it hit me. I had left my wet diaper in the middle of Jane's living room floor. My heart fell into my stomach. I looked at the clock, 5:10, Jane's mom had been home for 10 minutes now. I was so screwed. I grabbed my phone and quickly dialed Jane's number. Hello. Jane answered right away. I couldn't tell from her voice if she had been crying, but it sounded like she might have. Hey, it's me, I started. Left my. Yeah, I know. Jane interrupted me. Mom found it too. She knew right away it wasn't mine. I had to tell her, Peter. Everything. Everything. I said weakly. You mean she knows it's mine? She knows about you, the diapers, everything. She is pissed. I am in so much trouble. I mean, we are in so much trouble. She's calling your mom, you know. Crap. I thought to myself. My parents were not nearly as bad as Jane's mom, but this still wasn't going to go well. I decided to man up. I could deal with my parents, I was more worried about Jane. How bad is it? I asked timidly. Bad, Jane said, real bad. She spanked me once already, now I am in my room waiting for her to get the paddle. The paddle, Peter, I haven't gotten the paddle in years. I wondered if there was any chance I was going to get the paddle. Probably not, I'll just be grounded forever. That's not the worst of it, Peter, Jane continued, I can't see you anymore. What do you mean? I asked, I'll see you at school on Monday. No, you won't, Jane explained. Mom is sending me to a boarding school to finish out my senior year. She was so mad when she found out we were here alone. She even asked me if I was pregnant. You're going away? I asked, shocked. Tomorrow, Jane said flatly. Wow. I wasn't shocked beyond belief. Jane and I might never see each other again, this was horrible. Jane, however, seemed to be taking this all rather calmly. Actually, she seemed a little too calm. Jane, are you? I started to ask. Yeah, Jane continued rather casually, apparently this is a boarding school specifically for bedwetters and troublemakers. Mom says all I will be allowed to wear is a diaper. Can you imagine a bunch of girls my age walking around in just diapers? I could imagine it all right, but I was pretty sure the place didn't exist outside of some internet story forums. So I take it your mom didn't really find the diaper? I asked, relieved. No, Peter, I found it first and got rid of it before she got home. Jane said wryly, you really need to be more careful where you leave your things. I know, I'm sorry. I said, hoping Jane wasn't too annoyed with me. It's fine, Peter, just be more careful, okay? Jane replied, not sounding too irritated. Okay, I will, talk to you later, okay? I said, oh, and Jane. Yes, Peter. That was really mean. I know, Peter. I love you. I love you too. I hung up the phone, my head spinning. I was so relieved, Jane wasn't moving away, I wasn't going to be grounded into eternity. And Jane had said she loved me. Life was good. After hanging up the phone, I realized I had a decision to make. I was still wearing the soaking wet goodnight and it was getting very uncomfortable. Obviously I needed to change, but into what? Did I stick with my commitment to Jane and put on another diaper? Or did just put on regular underwear while I was at home? Did I just have to wear them when I was with Jane? That's when it counted, right? Finally, partially out of a feeling of commitment, and partially because I was enjoying it, I decided to put on a diaper. Jane didn't have a choice, I told myself. I retrieved another brief from the pack of diapers I had stashed under my bed. Spreading it out on the bed, I quickly taped it on. The process was becoming much easier. After getting dressed, I opted to stay in my room and play on the computer. No one would find it strange for me to be there, and I really wanted to minimize the time I spent in front of my parents in a diaper.